let me show you 7 reasons why you should get a real camera like this over your smartphone.
In just 20 minutes, we're going to show you how to master mobile filmmaking.
Are the smartphones good enough now?
Like a few months ago, I maybe would have told people they could probably do enough with their smartphone. Everyone should have a camera if they're interested.
Let's take a look at 5 ways to shoot smartphone video that doesn't suck.
There is a fading but still very prevalent stigma against smartphone filmmaking. In the modern age, the term filmmaking encompasses a variety of mediums, from celluloid to digital cameras. Recently, filmmaking on smartphones has become more popularized with festivals dedicated to the medium, such as Filmic Fest or the Toronto Smartphone Film Festival. However, despite slow-growing recognition of the medium, there is still an ongoing stigma against using a smartphone for shooting a movie. This consistent criticism of smartphone filmmaking leads to the question, why do people view smartphone filmmaking as separate from traditional filmmaking in the digital age? Filmmaking is constantly being remediated, from film stock to digital cameras, and now to smartphones. In this video essay, I will argue that smartphone films are taken less seriously than filmmaking with a camera due to the cultural idea that smartphones have a personal nature. People have always had opinions on new styles of filmmaking. Some directors like Quentin Tarantino don't even see digital films as true films.
At least it does nothing for me. It does nothing for me. I mean, I actually think I'm getting gypped when I go to a movie and I realize it's either been shot on digital or being projected in digital. I mean, some people feel differently about this, but I think it's the death keel. I think it's the death rattle.
To understand the views on smartphone filmmaking, I interviewed students
Lauren Miatello
and
Spencer.
to see what they thought about filmmaking on smartphones. What do you personally use to record short films with?
I shoot on my camera that's right there. It is a Canon Rebel T5i.
Lauren's Canon camera. I don't have much experience using a camera, so I would lean towards iPhone just because it's like easy to pick up and you can use it whenever, wherever you are.
I don't really use my phone because when I'm like, if I'm gonna intentionally shoot something, I'd rather use the camera just because I think it has a better look. It has a pretty good microphone built into.
Just pull it out and you have it there, and it's usually pretty good quality, and it tends to be getting like higher and higher quality. I would think using an actual camera would give it more of a professional feel, especially if you're shooting on a set. I feel like using a camera just on a day-to-day, probably iPhone, but on like a professional set, definitely I would say an actual camera.
Like even when I would shoot YouTube videos when I was in high school, I was a YouTuber, not a very good one, but I would mainly shoot on the camera because the sound quality was better than my iPhone, the video quality is better than my iPhone, and it's pretty like light and portable. But if I'm out like on vacation or something, like I'll take videos on my phone, but if I want to get like cinematic looking things, I use my camera usually.
The term cinematic comes up frequently when people begin to talk about filming on smartphones. This idea of cinematic is usually tied in people's minds to the camera's quality. However, in Tangerine, Baker has a particularly cinematic scene when Alexandra sings at the lounge. This scene uses a static shot with traditional lighting, a music score, and cuts that get gradually closer to Alexandra that create an intimate yet professional feel to the film. This is distinctly different from other scenes in the movie that we'll look at in a second. So if the issue isn't the cinematicness of an iPhone, is it the professionalism?
I know when we were shooting our short films, it was like people were more just attuned to listen if you had like the professional equipment, because I know you shot yours on like an iPhone, and I feel like people were like less engaged.
I don't think it's less professional at all, because I think professionalism comes from like how much thought you're putting into it, how much planning you're putting into it, the artistic messaging going into it. And so I think that, if you have a choice and a reason for using it, then I think that if you have, intention behind it, I don't think it's less professional.
Even the actor for Chester in Tangerine said, "I was on the wire. I've ended up in iPhone movies," but was still convinced of the equipment's legitimacy by the end of the shoot. Since professionalism relies on the crew around the filmmaking process, it is still unclear as to why there is an inherent bias against iPhone filmmaking. Let's go back to what Spencer and Lauren said earlier.
On a day-to-day, probably iPhone.
But if I'm out like on vacation or something, like I'll take videos on my phone. But
This idea of day-to-day versus an arranged film relates to Dean Keef's theory that the smartphone is a digital Wunderkammer that is mostly used for recording personal experiences and revisiting memories. Now that we've established the fact that iPhones are seen as memory holders rather than movie equipment, let's see what Spencer and Lauren think about the visual quality of cameras and iPhones. For reference, clip 1 is with a camera, and clip 2 is with an iPhone.
was this shot? No, wait. I'm second guessing myself. I feel like I'm overthinking this too much. My initial instinct was the camera, but now I'm thinking it was shot on your iPhone. So, was this on your iPhone?
Do you want me to show you the next clip?
Sure.
Quality seems good.
Oh no, okay, no. This is the iPhone because you can see every sorry. Hold on. Oh my god, I look so bad at this! This is the iPhone because it has that like unforgiving Apple back camera like quality.
The main difference to me seems like the lighting. Like it seems there's a lot more detail in the second one, but it just seems because the first one might be overexposed. So I'm guessing the first one's just a camera with the wrong settings, and then the second one's a phone. Would I be right in guessing that? Okay.
Yeah, that's iPhone. The last one was camera.
Yeah.
No, but even just like the quality, it's interesting because you would think like that it has better, like you'd be able to see all the details on like a more expensive. I don't know if that camera is actually more expensive than iPhone nowadays.
Like, I think the second one, just based on these clips, actually looks better. The quality of the shot, the phone quality is better. I just feel like the camera's overexposed. But no, I mean, that's just surprising to me.
Yeah. Do you think if I showed you that clip first, you would have been like, iPhone?
Yeah, there's something about like the phone. You can see a lot more detail on Lauren's face and on the side of my face.
I think I would have gotten a way stronger sense. Like I think I would have more stuck with my instinct. Like, yeah, that would be the iPhone, just because there is so much of familiarity with it.
This form of familiarity seen in iPhone filming is what is extremely notable in the opening scene of Tangerine.
Hi. Were we supposed to share it? Yes, we're supposed to share it, bitch. I'm broke.
The closeness of the shot and proximity to Cindy makes the shot very iPhone-esque, which is amplified with static framing. However, similar to how the iPhone had great quality as seen by Spencer and Lauren, this quality is used in the taxi scene.
You speak English pretty good. Where you from?
I'm Armenian.
Yeah, I knew some people who came from Armenia. They brought a lot of jewelry with them when they got out. I'm from Oklahoma, and I'm a Cherokee Indian. I got a girl's name Mia, but it's a feminine name in English, but it's not in Cherokee. I was named like all Indian Cherokee babies are named.
This scene has a documentary feel to this shot that sets it apart from the opening. The handheld framing and one take on a man's story makes it feel unprompted and a part of a documentary rather than an iPhone film. This range of filming styles in Tangerine displays how iPhones can be used as filming equipment in multiple ways that don't always have to look like an iPhone. This made me wonder, what did Lauren and Spencer think about Tangerine being filmed on an iPhone?
To me, on the surface, it feels like a ploy to be like, get attention around your indie film for something other than like it being a good film. I've heard the movie's good.
I think it's awesome. I think that they did a really good job with it, and I think that it looks really great.
But I think it can be used effectively in a certain way, like a kind of on the ground documentary type style of filmmaking. And I think if the script's solid, then should turn out to be a good film regardless.
And I think that it was also a definite artistic choice. I mean, I'm sure maybe budgetary aspects had some part to do with it as well. But I think that it was also a really good intentional choice because of the subject matter that it's portraying and sort of just like looking at people on the street, like as they live their lives literally like on the street.
But what if Tangerine was filmed on a BlackBerry? What would that reception look like versus the iPhone footage? I showed Lauren and Spencer BlackBerry footage versus iPhone footage.
I love the quality on this, like just better than the camera, better than the iPhone. I absolutely love how this looks.
Yeah, it looks horrible. Well, why? It just looks like VHS tape footage.
I don't know. I think I love it because this is also exactly what my home videos look like growing up too.
3G phone. I mean, it looks vintage. That's the thing. It looks pixelated.
I love it. I don't know. I love it so much. I don't even know what else to say except it makes my heart so happy.
Yeah.
That's more of a phenomenology-based answer, maybe.
Well, the iPhone footage looks like. See, the thing with iPhone footage is it looks good. It doesn't necessarily look cinematic, but it looks good. It's hard to compare because one just looks blurrier. But I mean, I think there's like a certain aesthetic.
I think it's still cool footage. I just think to me it's like a whole different realm. Even though it's like shooting literally the exact same thing, I think that there's something more wholesome, and I think it's about the BlackBerry footage, but I think that's also, again, like, that's exactly what I grew up with.
So you really like that footage because of the like nostalgia that comes with it?
Yeah, I think that would probably be the best way. That would probably be the best way to answer it. It's just like grainy, like hard to see, pixelized early 2000s footage. I love it so much.
This blast of nostalgia with the BlackBerry footage brings us back to the point that smartphone films are taken less seriously than a camera due to smartphones having a personal nature. Whether the footage is from a BlackBerry or an iPhone, both of them have a sense that we are watching a memory of someone's life, whereas a camera feels objective. Tangerine is an example of a film that is able to navigate this cultural idea of what iPhones are meant to capture. Using different shot styles, Tangerine is able to capture a personal feel, an objective feel, or a documentary feel. Hopefully in the future, more iPhone films will be produced from new and indie filmmakers, and another medium of film will be fully embraced.